Now we're going to move into what we call the law of cosines. Okay. We learned law of sines. Now we're going to learn the law of cosines. As a matter of fact, let me go here at the side. Let me even write the title. The law of cosines. Okay. Now this is going to expand our Pythagorean theorem. You guys remember the Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So let me extend this. So let me start with C squared. It's equal to A squared plus B squared. Remember that? We should be familiarized with that. Now the Pythagorean theorem, it works. It works only if the triangle it's a right triangle, right? The triangle has a 90-degree angle. But what if it doesn't? What if it does not have a 90-degree angle? So we're gonna change this a little. We're gonna say, okay, it is the Pythagorean theorem minus, keep in mind, I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna go 2. Well, that 2 does not look good. So again, this whole thing erase. The law of cosine is a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times, so still another times, cosine of angle A. Now you guys might be like, wait a minute. Why did this part did not exist with the Pythagorean theorem? Because the cosine of 90 degrees is 0. So what happened is when the angle was 90 degrees, cosine of 90 degrees was 0. So it canceled this whole thing out. So we didn't talk about it then because cosine of 90 degrees actually cleared all this thing out. And actually, it's not cosine of A, it's cosine of C. Let me do cosine of C. The angle has to match my letter here. Okay. Let me do another rule. I'm gonna give you guys 3 rules that we're going to be using. Very similar. This is gonna help me to solve side C. But what if I'm solving for side A? So I'm gonna say A squared is gonna be equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times cosine of A. And what if I want to solve for side B? Well, the formula we have is B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2 times A times C times cosine of B. And I'm going to say it doesn't really matter which one we're solving for. We're going to use the letter of the angle that we have. So if I give you angle C, we're using the first letter, the first equation. If I give you angle A, we're using the second one. If I give you angle B, we're using the third one. So it is dependent to the angle given. If that actually solves what I'm solving for, if I give you angle C and I'm asking for side C, awesome, you solved it. Right? If I give you angle A and I'm asking for side A, or if I give you angle B and you're solving for side B, not that bad. But the bad thing is that sometimes I might give you side angle C. I might give you angle C and ask you to solve for side A. That's going to happen. That will happen. So let's take a look. I'm looking at question number 25 on my notes. AB, let me label my sides. AB, the side AB, this is what I called side C. And then I'm going to say 30 is my side B and 27 is my side A. Remember, side A is opposite from angle A. Side B is opposite from angle B. Side C is opposite from angle C. And I have that angle C is 101 degrees. So because I have angle C, I'm going to use the formula that has angle C. So let me remind you guys of that formula. The formula was, let me use blue here, C squared, it's equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times cosine of angle C. Oh, seems pretty long. Good thing I have a calculator. Good thing I give you guys a calculator in Canvas. I don't know what side C is, so I'm still going to call it C squared. But instead of A squared, let me call this 27 squared plus 30 squared minus 2 times 27 times 30 times cosine of 101. Let me highlight this right here. It seems pretty long, but it is all numerical. You're not working this by hand. Just type it in. That's going to give me my C squared. All right, so let me bring a calculator because I've been letting you guys use calculators. So let me bring the calculator that we have. Let me zoom in here. I'm gonna use this calculator as a reminder. Every time I open a calculator, it's on radians, or at least I want to give you. Make sure you switch it to degrees. You need degrees. Okay, so I'm just gonna type in what we had. So I'm just gonna go 27 squared. You see this x with the 2? See how it says 27 squared plus 30 squared minus 2 times 27 times 30 times cosine of 101. And let me close my parentheses. Again, it was lengthy. Good thing I can just type it in. You see 27 squared plus 30 squared. This little thing, we call it caret, basically means squared, minus 2 times 27 times 30 times cosine of 101. Good thing the calculator knows order operations. I'm just going to press equal, and it gives me my answer. 1938.11057251. Okay, so I'm not going to write all of this. Let me come back here. So I have 1938 point, let me go to 6 decimal places. So I had 110573. 110573. I said I rounded it to 6 decimal places. Now I ask you for side C, not C squared. So what do we do to get rid of a square? Do the square root. I know addition and subtraction they undo each other. Multiplication, division, they undo each other. Exponents and radicals undo each other, right? We talked about this before. So this is actually what's going to give me my C. So I just have to do one last step, the square root of that. Let me go to my calculator. So if I press this, it's going to do a multiplication. So make sure you clear it out. So I'm going to do the square root of 1938.110573. Close parentheses, press equal. So 44.0239. I'm rounding to the nearest tenth. I'm rounding to 1 decimal place. So I'm going to call this 44.0. My .0 is optional, so 44, 44.0, however you want it. Okay, that was not bad. Let's take a look at question number 26. Let's see. I'm asking to solve for side AC. That's this one right here. We should call that side B because it's opposite from angle B. So farthest away from angle B. I see we have angle B. I see we have angle A, side A. 24 is opposite from angle A, so that's why I call it side A. And we have side C. Okay. Because I have angle B, I'm going to use the formula that says something about cosine of angle B. Let me remind you guys of that formula. B squared, it's equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2 times A times C times cosine of angle C. Okay, so in other words, I have that B squared is equal to 24 squared plus 26 squared minus 2 times 24 times 26 times cosine of 134. Again, like I did on the previous question, let me highlight this. It's all numerical. Just type it in. That's going to help me solve for side B. That's good. Not too bad. So let me bring my calculator. So let me clear this thing out. And I know I have 24 squared plus 26 squared minus 2 times 24 times 26 times cosine of 134. Press entered, and it gives me 2,118 point something. Okay, I'm going to round it to 6 decimal places. I know my answer, it says to round it to the nearest tenth, but not my work. So I'm going to say B squared is equal to 2,118.933646. Let me get the square root on each. So that's going to give me B, which is what I'm solving for. Now I don't have to type it in all again. I can just show you, I can just say I typed it. So I'm going to type it on my work here, and I'm going to say the square root of that. It gives me 46.03. So 46.03. I do look at 2 decimal places to see if I want to round up. My second decimal place is too small, so my answer is 46.0. Not bad. All right, let's take a look at question 27. I'm solving for an angle here. Okay, let me see, what do I have? I have angle C. I have side A and side B. Okay, I'm asking you to solve for angle A, but I gave you angle C. The formula that we're going to use is the formula that has angle C. Again, we're going to use the one formula that has the one angle that I gave you, not the one angle that I'm solving, the angle that I gave you. Okay, so let's take a look. What does the formula look like? That says angle C. Let me refresh you that formula. It's C squared. It's equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times cosine of C. So that's going to give me C squared. It's equal to 8.9 squared plus 28.3 squared minus 2 times 8.9 times 28.3 times cosine of 44.4. Let me remind you, all this is numerical. What I mean with numerical, that means I can just type it in on my calculator. So that's going to give me my c squared. So let's see. Let me grab my calculator here. So I have everything clear. So, okay, so 8.9 squared plus 28.3 squared minus 2 times 8.9 times 28.3 times cosine of 44.4. Huh. It doesn't continue writing. Okay, so let me do this real quick. Let me show you guys what I'm gonna do. And actually, I was hoping it would do this to me. I really was. Let me just do this part first. I'm gonna do this multiplication at the end. Let me just do 8.9 squared plus 28.3 squared. So let me just do 8.9 squared plus 28.3 squared. Let me press equal. Okay. And then just continue typing now. Not really, just continue typing. So I'm going to go minus 2 times 8.9 times 28.3 times cosine of 44.4. Okay, remember again how it didn't fit on my calculator. Okay, if that's the problem, type in the first two numbers, the two squares. Right? Remember it was 8.9 squared plus 28.3 squared. Boom, press equal and then continue typing. Okay, now when I press equal, it gives me 520 point something. Okay, so let me just come back to my work here. So c squared is equal to 520.1915.324. I know this time I went 7 decimal places. It's fine. Get the square root of each. So I'm going to get that c, right? When I do the square root of that, it gives me c is equal to 22.807707. So I know side c is 22.807707. That is this side. Now, is that what we were solving for? Did I ask you give me side C? No, I said find the measurement of angle A. So we're not quite done yet. We're not quite done. Now, I could do the one that has cosine of A, or one thing I know yesterday we learned the law of sines. I didn't erase my notes from yesterday because I wanted us to point this out. Remember the law of sines? We saw this on the previous lecture. Well, I'm going to, even though the homework might say law of cosines, I'm going to use the law of sines every time I know one of my fractions. What do I need to know one of my fractions? I need to know either side A and angle A, or side B and angle B, or side C and angle C. Every time, again, every time I have one angle in the opposite side, I'm going to use the law of sines. Here, I have angle C and side C. So guess what? I'm going to use the law of sines. I'm going to say sine of angle A, because I'm solving for angle A, divided by side A is equal to, I don't know angle B, right? So don't use angle B. Don't use the things that have B. Instead, I'm going to say sine of angle C divided by side C. So I have, let me write in black what I have. Sine of A, let me write a big fraction, divided by 8.9. It's equal to, let me write a big fraction here, sine of 44.4 divided by 22.807707. Now I wrote big fractions because I'm going to multiply both sides by 8.9. This thing cancel out. So don't forget that parentheses on sign. Don't forget that. Okay, now I'm just going to type this, and that's going to give me sine of A. So I'm going to, let me just write here. Sine of A equals, and I'm just going to type this really quick. Let me bring my calculator out. So I have sine of 44.4 times 8.9 divided by 22.807707, and it gives me a big decimal, 0.273022. So you guys see that, right? I have 0.273022. I'm gonna round it to 6 decimal places. So let me bring back over here. 0.273022. So angle A is sine inverse of that. Okay, I'm gonna type it on my calculator. Let me bring my calculator up again. Let me clear this out. I need sine inverse, so let me go second. Sine inverse of 0.273022. It gives me 15.8. And I'm gonna say, to be honest, the answer is 15.9. The thing is, because I rounded here. My rounding is actually what messed it up. Don't round in that. That should give you more accurate answer. Let's take a look at number 28. Okay, so I see angle B, but I don't have side B. Cannot use the law of sines. Instead, let me see. I have side C and side A and angle B. So because I gave you angle B, we're going to use the law of cosines that has something about angle B. Let me remind you guys of that formula. B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2 times A times C times cosine of angle B. So in other words, I have that B squared, it's equal to 18 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 18 times 13 times cosine of 117. Let me get my calculator out here. Again, I'm using the calculator you guys have in Canvas, so I don't need the second. Because I'm going to use cosine. So let me see, 18 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 18 times 13 times cosine of 117. And gives me 705 point something. Okay. So I'm going to say b squared is 705.4675539. Get the square root on each, so I'm going to get that b is about 26.560639. So I know this side b is 26.560639. Now, is that what I had asked you to solve for b? No. I asked you to solve for the angle C, because it says find the measurement of angle C. I know angle B and I know side B, and I just said every time you know one angle and the opposite side, use the law of sines. So I'm gonna say sine of angle C, because I'm solving for angle C, divided by side C is equal to sine of angle B divided by side B. So in other words, sine of angle C, let me do a big fraction, divided by 13 is equal to, let me do a big fraction here, sine of 117 divided by 26.560639. Let me multiply it both sides by 13 on the top. So this cancel out. Don't forget the sign has a parentheses. So it's going to give me sine of angle C. And I'm just going to multiply all that. Sine of 117 times 13 divided by 26.560639. My calculator gives me 0.436099629. I don't really want to round too much because I want my answer to be accurate. Now I'm going to say angle C. When I move sine to the outside, I have to do sine inverse. So sine inverse of all that. I'm going to say my angle C is about 25.85. Rounded to one decimal place. This 5 is big enough. So 25.9. I'm even going to give you an assignment, right? I'm done with the lectures of this unit, but I'm even going to give you guys, I know yesterday I gave you guys the law of sines. That was easy. Today, I'm giving you the law of cosines. I'm not even going to give you guys an assignment where I combine the two. I want you to know which one do you use. Every time you have an angle and the opposite side, let me, for example, question number 22. You see how I have an angle, 61, and the opposite side. So every time you have that, use the law of sines. Now, when you don't have that, then you have to use the law of cosines. When I say the law of sines is easier, so try to rely on the law of sines. If you notice, even when we were doing number 27 or number 28, when we were doing the law of cosines, we went back to the law of sines. So let me say that again. Every time you have an angle in the opposite side, rely on the law of sines. If not, you have to use the law of cosines. So you have the notes from yesterday, the notes from today, and any questions, feel free to reach out to me.